Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Devil May Cry 5 Dante Must Die difficulty S-rank walkthrough. This is mission 3, it's the Flying Hunter, and this is a 1 attempt, which is kind of sick. Even though, technically, the last video was also a 1 attempt, but I reset on that level, so it wasn't a one attempt. I reset because I wasn't happy with the fight, which I said I wasn't going to do, so I'm sorry, but, you know, sometimes you just got to do it, you know. But this is 1000%. The first time I touched this level here, this is what I got. And I'm not exactly happy with this beginning fight either, but what can you do, right? But here are the bat creatures. I don't actually know what the standard bat is called. I know that they might be just called pyro bats. I think one of them is called pyro bats. It's a bat that does fire moves. The two moves that you want to watch out for with that is its streaking of flames and its shotgun. It does a shotgun blast of like ridiculous flame. That move will hit you when you're in a different state. Don't ever let them do it. And the easiest way with Nero to stop them is to buster them. If you pull them towards yourself, you'll just interrupt what they're doing. And that's the same for almost all of the enemies, like the Hellcanas that I'm fighting right now. This creature has a running attack where it drags its scythe along the ground and then slashes at you. Sometimes on Dante Must Die, hitting them is not enough. Sometimes you hit them and they take it and then you get hit. However, if you grab them and you drag them towards you with your wire, you will stop whatever they're doing. It works on almost every enemy in the game, which is one of the most powerful aspects of the game, and you need to start using it. Another thing that's really effective in this game too is this idea of carrying an enemy into the sky and keeping him there, and if he falls, bringing him back, and just constantly keeping yourself out of the ground area. Whenever you stand on the ground in this game, when people are on camera, you are in danger. And because the camera in this game is so wonderfully mischievous, you're going to have moments where using it like you would normally in a Devil May Cry game is just not going to help. But there's quite a lot of bats in this encounter, and people have devil triggered. I'm using Gerbera just to add a little bit more flair in the air when I teleport around. I'm not very well versed with this particular arm. It's one of my favourites, but I prefer the other version of it, and because this is a walkthrough, I didn't want to use DLC. And technically the Gerbera that I prefer is DLC, so you'll not see me using any of those novelty ones, as much as some of them are quite effective. But we've got an Antinora here as well, this guy right here. You'll see me oftentimes miss level 3 calibers, which is really frustrating, because it's one of the most powerful moves you can do. And the cool thing about Gerbera, if you haven't experimented too much, is that you can use it to parry, and it's a very safe parry. For instance, when you knock this character away, and he lands and he goes into his Venom mode, you can either grab him like I did just then, which is a guaranteed stopping of that mode with Nero, or you can wait for him to swing at you and then use Gerbera, parry him and make him vulnerable. When you parry an enemy in this game, they're put into a state where you can almost do anything to them, but it's a very small window, so don't dilly-dally. It even works on the Nilo swordsman, who, if you've not fought one of those on Dante Must Die, you are in for a treat. If I were to tell you all of the worst parts of the Bible and add them together into one big conglomeration of dog shit, it would not even rival the amount of dog shit that fighting those Nilo guys on Dante Must Die just proceeds to show. It is mind-boggling. And I am somebody who, if you check my channel, you can see the things that I've done. I've beaten a lot of games in some peculiar ways, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. Fighting those angels isn't fun. It is the opposite of fun. And right now you're going to see a wonderful moment. Gets through all the fights at the beginning, kills them all, doesn't take a hit of damage, but the platforming is difficult apparently. And I don't know why this happened, I couldn't honestly tell you. I blame my hands, I blame my brain, I blame everything in conjunction. So you shoot them, you whip them, you shoot them, you whip them, but when I tried to do it that first time, it didn't work. And then I get to look like a clown for 30 seconds, so there you go guys, enjoy it. Enjoy my misery as we move through here. So this is the point in the level where I think this level starts to get a bit long. Like, I really like that roof section, and it would have been cool if the roof section was a little bit longer, and that was the end of the mission, and then when you come into the underground, then that's the next mission. But as it stands, you have to do a lot of fights back to back here, so consistency is king, and this first one is involving the riots. So a riot is essentially a blade These are a really interesting opponent. I've never been hit in the air in this game as many times in any other Devil May Cry as I have by this enemy. If this guy is on screen, he can jump off a wall like he's a Titanfall 2 pilot and dick you in the mouth. You don't want that to happen, unless you do, but I don't, and I believe most of you probably won't either, so be very, very careful with this enemy. Always try to stay in the air, always try to isolate one. Feel free to grab them when you're in the air too. If you do it too much, you won't get much of a style bonus from it, but it's really, really powerful and it's really safe. But just make sure you're high enough so that the other guy can't mess with you. If you don't know how to get in the air with Nero, if you check my channel, I have a tutorial on how to get high with him. And unfortunately, it doesn't involve 420 Blaze in it, but it will help you in the video game. And then we get to fight the wonderful Tentacles of Doom that I really don't understand why they exist. They're just one of those many oddities in Devil May Cry 5. Why do you exist, Mr. Tentacle? Why do you steal my lock-on when I'm trying to fight an actually threatening enemy? So many questions, so little answers. And then more footage of Chris trying to max act and just fucking it up. Piece of advice, guys, as well. I find that I max act when I don't mean to, and I can't do it when I want to. So, if you don't get it on the first few attempts as you move through the area, either feel free to rev, which is what some people do, don't feel shame in it. It's not, you know, not everybody can have perfect timing. Or do the air taunt, because you're still moving forward and you can still get some opportunities to do some revs. But it's all about practice, guys. One thing I find is that I'm just I'm so inconsistent. There's times when I get them all the time and I feel like a beast. I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing it so well, look at this shit. And then there's other times where it's like, nope, 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 can't be done, can't be done. Hands, mutiny, what is happening? And there's no middle grounds for me. And it's one of those things where I think when you start realizing that you're fucking it up so much, you start fucking it up more. It's almost like you tilt yourself. And this is a new enemy as well. I'm not entirely certain how to say this creature's name. I think it's something like Lucacia, something like that. It's essentially an upgraded Baphomet, and just then was a great example of why that enemy is incredibly dangerous. That should have never happened. The strategy for that creature is simple. Keep on it, stun it, kill it. But for whatever reason, the lock on, the camera, my bad play, it all culminated in a wonderful cake of misery. And speaking of misery, you can shoot the barrel here and really kill the next one, because to my right just now is a baddie, who we need to get rid of. And if you see me attacking anybody but this creature in this room, it's because the game is being a twat. But now we just have to take on some riots, and because the ceiling is very high, you should be perfectly fine here. I really like this fight, but it must be said that these enemies are incredibly dangerous. And I'm going to go to a tried and tested 2 swings into double down, into jump cancel, into something else, and then every so often I'll mix it up a little bit, but just constantly wailing on them as best as I can. Make sure you use your leash and your grabs, and after this you can actually hit him again if he hits the wall, which is really interesting. I didn't know that. If you throw the lizards into a wall and you're close to the wall, you can either shoot them or hit them with Overture, and then you can knuckle the Overture to stun them and then hit them again, and then you can immediately go back into another combo. It looks really cool. But you need a wall to do it. Something about Overture that the tooltips will tell you that you might not know is if you attack an enemy on the ground or above you or against a wall, the move that Overture does is dynamic and it will change. But yeah, did I mention that devil-triggered enemies are ridiculous? Look at this! And this is the obligatory part where I have to say, you know all these people who think Hell in Hell is the most difficult difficulty because you can't get hit? You have no idea until you've done this. No idea. Fighting enemies on Son of Sparda difficulty is a walk in the fucking park compared to taking on a devil-triggered riot. Look at this! It's just insane. And admittedly, I'm not max acting, I'm not hitting the best stuff, but I'm still hitting him, you know? Still hitting him pretty good. And he's just eating it. That's his spinning attack. If there's any enemy in this game that you're not comfortable with, take him in the void. Take him in the void, fight him for a couple of hours, just look at them. See what they do, see how they move, see the telegraphs, see what does what, and then learn the best way in your own playstyle and how to deal with them. But as long as you got over 5,000 style in that fight, guys, you're going to be perfectly fine. If you get more than 6, you're laughing. However, if your style is under 5,000, say if you got 4,500 just there, you have to really make it up. Because if you can't do perfect on the next few fights, it's probably a good idea to reset. Coming up here is the debut of the Death Scissors. However, we've already seen them because this is Dante Must Die mode. This enemy is really interesting. It's a big homage to the first Devil May Cry game. If you attack their scissors as they go to swing at you, you'll parry them, their face will go red, and you can kill them instantly. It looks amazing, it's very efficient, but it's not the most stylish way of doing it, and you might lose points. So instead, I would recommend that you wail on them as best as you can, and whenever they parry you and knock you back, they're going to report with that wonderful sequence of swings. There's the weakness that tells you that you can kill them. Did you notice how his face grew red? He had like a red miasma around his mask. And then here comes his friend. There's his swing. Make sure you're not near that. Now we get to fight two of them. Good luck with the lock-on and the camera in this room. It's a nightmare. But being able to jump on this enemy is such a powerful position because you can reset a lot of moves you normally can't reset. So you can do things like caliber into jumping off them, into another caliber, into things like that. He's stunned now. Wait for the killing shot. There it is. Now he's dead. And then we just have to take on the final guy. So final guy is... there his swing, dodge his swing, get above him, pull him up to you. Boom, boom, boom. There's one of his scissors gone, pull him towards you, break his second scissors, there's his attack, dodge that. Get back in the action. Be very careful under these balconies, and then there's the final guy. You can buster them when you get rid of their shield. And then we get 5,500, so we're well on our way to getting the S rank. And then we have the boss coming up. The boss is called Artemis. Another throwback to the other Devil May Cry games. If you know much about Artemis, you'll understand that this was a weapon in the previous games, and now it's been weaponized against us, and it turns into a boss that, if you do this boss correctly, this boss is actually not too bad at all, but it demands patience, and you can't make mistakes. I'm going to show you a really sloppy Artemis fight, and I'm not happy with it, but at the same time, what can you do? I really wanted to re-record this one, guys, so... I had to bite the bullet on this one and just be like, I said I'd do first result, and this is it, even though it's going to be kind of heartbreaking for me to watch. So, here's what you do. You get close to this boss, you beat on it, it usually screams to knock you back, you jump away from it, you get back, you beat on it. When you do enough damage, you stun it. When you stun it, you want to use ragtime to slow down time, you want to use... the showdown on it to do a big combo while time is slowed, and then you want to hit it as it recovers, and as it starts to get back up, you want to use a fully charged buster grab. Break the arm on it, make sure your devil trigger do the most damage. If you do that, you'll do an insane amount of damage. This move right here, if you're ballsy, you can buster this, and you will grab the boss and completely stop that from happening. And on Dante Must Die, the boss loves to do this move, so you get tons of opportunity. However, if you do it wrong, you're going to eat about what my life bar is right now. So you really have to know your timing. And, spoiler alert, because this fight went so shit, I decided to try to do it, and I did it too late. So, look forward to that. But most of the things the boss summons you can shoot with your gun. The only difficulties you'll have right now is that the lock-on is quite aggressive at prioritizing the boss, and the boss likes to run away. But cover the ground, see what you can do. See what I mean with this attack? If I knew the timing on the punish in that attack, I'd be laughing. But now she's closer, we can wail on her. And the reason that the grab is so important is not only does the grab do a lot of damage, but afterwards, she'll almost always go to the ceiling. Whenever this boss goes to the ceiling and summons those two robots to help her, you will stun her and knock her down, and you can grab her again. And I fail the second grab, which is another reason why this fight is going to be quite miserable. But that's the stun. So right now is when you should be using ragtime. Instead, I'm just going to wail on her, wait for her to recover, and then hit her with the grab. There's the grab. I don't actually know if mashing Rev helps this move, but in my mind, mashing Rev helps. So right now, mash Rev. You can hold it. Some people think you should hold it. I feel like mashing it did more. And then afterwards, you can hit maybe one or two more hits and then get out of there. But at this point, you're probably thinking, this fight looks pretty good right now. This looks great. We can win, right? And then that happened, which was unfortunate. My mistake, though, didn't play that very well. And then right now is her ultimate. So these two evasive starfishes are going to twirl around you until you shoot them, and then when you shoot them, they turn into Grim Grip points. Be careful of the aim assist here. The aim assist will fuck you to death. It does it all the time. It shoots the wrong one. But once you stun both of them, grip all the way up to her, and then begin to hit her. And then this is where the real misery begins. So you stun her, she gets down on the ground, there's me breaking my arm so I can grab her again, and I grab her too late. So if you watch, she starts recovering, and the grab whiffs. I don't know if that's because you can only grab her once. I don't know if I was just too late, or maybe if I'd had to jump and do it. Because one of the restrictions in Devil May Cry is you can jump Buster Grab, and then you can ground Buster Grab, but you can't seem to do the same one twice. And it might be that limitation from Devil May Cry 4 rearing its ugly head. But there it was. See that? That was Chris trying to do the move, because I'd already kind of committed to failing this mission and doing it again. And it didn't work. And here comes the big laser that's never hit me. One of the most fierce attacks. She just stands there. You can wail on her as much as you want. As soon as you get behind her, it's a joke. But, yeah. And if you're wondering, that's the scream. That's what she should be doing when you're close to her. If you can beat up on her like this and make her do this move, she's doing it again. This is the perfect loop for this boss. And then she devil triggers, and look at the damage we're not doing now. 50% reduction in damage now. On a boss that already had 500 million HP. Those orbs right there can be shot, as you just witnessed. This one can be strafed. The other one can be double jumped over. This one goes where you are, so try to move away from it. And be very careful in movements just like that. Because she hesitated, so look, I tried to do it again. Balls of steel. I was really wanting to die, I'm not gonna lie. When I get hit to shit that shouldn't hit me, and when I miss stuff, I feel so fucking miserable. Like, look at this. I just want to delete this right now. But I'm not going to. And here's why. The next time I cover this game, because I'm inevitably going to do more videos, the next time you see me do this fight, it's going to be such a wonderful contrast, and you're going to be able to see how far I've evolved as a player. And that's one of the things you don't get if you only have one representation of your playstyle. And it is really, really nice, because people sometimes come onto my videos and like, oh my god, I can't do this, how do you do this, this is ridiculous. Nobody does it all the time, dude. It takes time, it takes practice, and even the best players have moments like this. And I am by far not even close to being one of the best players, but I'm experienced in the series, and things just go bad, you know? Sometimes you have a bad time, and that's exactly what this is. One advantage to this video at the moment is you get to see the boss a bit. You get to see what she does, you get to realise when you have to be aggressive, when you can be passive. The biggest and most important aspect of this fight is don't panic. One of the things that I have in me is an inherent sense of panic on enemies that run away, because I constantly want to cover the distance to get back to them. And it's one of the reasons why I was never very good at Sanctus, because I always felt like I was constantly trying to get back to him and then panicking when I got to him. If you can get over that impulse and just relax and do good damage when you get there, you'll play so much better. And I just got healed just then from her minions, which I didn't realise that happened when I was playing. But yeah, the devil trigger is so ridiculous. It makes this fight so much longer than it needs to be. And then she's going to do the super move now. So this is another opportunity to stun her. I like to think in a different place, in a different time, I didn't whiff the previous grab, and I did so much damage to her that the fight's already been over for like 2 minutes. But that's just not the reality of what happened. And there we go, we knock her down again, and you're wondering how the hell is she still alive, because I know I was. And boom, she goes down. Absolutely abysmal fight, but I still got 5,700 points from it, so as shit as that was, with the multiplier, it's still over 1,000 over what we need. If that doesn't inspire you to get this stuff done, I don't know what will. Thank you so much for watching, and you take care now.